Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Between My Therapist and I. I am Lily Smith, licensed clinical social worker and the owner of the Traveling Therapist LLC. Today, we're going to be talking about the 5 love languages being used for Father's Day. So I'm going to be talking about 2 different ways to use them: children and how they can use the love languages, and then spouses and significant others and how they can use the love languages. So the first one we're going to go ahead and start is with acts of service. And for kids, a suggestion might be for an act of service when we're talking about love languages and acts of service is you doing something that would be significant to dad. Examples are you can clean his car, you can take over a task that he would regularly do, like, for example, cut the lawn, if that's something that he usually is the one that does, or take care of any sort of gardening or outside work, or even inside work. Maybe there's some projects that he was supposed to do, but he hasn't been able to do it. You go ahead and you take over and you get that out of the way for him. And that's an awesome way to show dad appreciation and kind of take something out of his plate that might have taken him time, energy, and effort that he just couldn't afford to give. So that's for children and even for spouses. But another suggestion for spouses would be you can cook dad his favorite meal or bake him his favorite dessert if he's someone that enjoys foods. Another act of service that you can do for him is if there's tasks that maybe you have asked him to do that you feel like you can actually complete instead for that one day, like just taking it from him and you complete at least one task. So that's an easy peasy acts of service, is something that, you can do around the house. It's just to lessen the load for dad. The next one is physical touch. And I've talked about physical touch for men in the past. And there's something that it just really hit me. I was listening to this podcast one time and they spoke about how men are so touch deprived. And when I thought about it in depth, it really just made sense, because for females, like, we can go to another female, a friend, a girlfriend, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, an aunt, a niece, a nephew, a mom, grandma, anybody. You can go to any female and ask for a hug, ask for just support, to lay next to them, sit next to them, whatever. You can ask for that and they'd be more than happy to give it to you. Then you can go to the male counterpart, like dads and uncles and grandfathers and stuff like that, and you could ask them for a hug and they'd be more than happy to give it to you. But for males, it's very different, because they're not always encouraged to ask for physical affection unless it's something related to intimacy and sex. So in this case, I'm definitely putting physical touch as one of the top ways that you can show affection and love to dad. And that is with the children. You guys can give them a hug, a nice, really heartfelt hug. You can do things like play wrestle. You can do things like sit next to him on the couch and just put your head on his shoulder, or just be near him in general, wherever he is, and just close the gap physically to where there's a proximity, there's a closeness, and it's in no way sexual whatsoever, but it's just physical touch. When it comes to a love language, is really just about just being close to the person. For spouses, it's a little bit different. You can also do, a massage. They almost always love it, appreciate it. Foot rubs, especially those working dads that are in construction or that are, electricians or installing like cables and wires and are up in attics and roofs, and you have military spouses, and you have dads that are roofers, and that, all kinds of dads that have to, especially the ones that have to wear like really hard, heavy duty boots and footwear, giving them like a nice soak for their feet, and then giving them like a nice foot rub and taking your time. That, is a wonderful way to show appreciation, wonderful way to give, really make them feel special. Another thing is, of course, find as many possible moments of just closeness as you can. So whether it's like giving them a hug, whether it's holding hands, whether it's kissing his neck, kissing his lips, a cheek kiss. I always do that. Sorry, that's my accent. Those are, really sweet, wonderful ways to show through physical affection, show love. That's also one of the most known love languages for males that come up, and most people say, oh yeah, it's because you're a male, so that makes sense. But they don't always understand that physical affection is something, again, males rarely receive from a very, very early age. You as a young boy, it gets to a point where you're no longer allowed to sleep in bed with mom and dad. You're no longer allowed to play around and just be close, and it's very different. So it's not always just about sexual desire. The next one is gifts. And something that I always think about for gifts is especially on Father's Day, and days that are very specific to the person and to what the person represents. My suggestion here is for the kids and even spouses, you want to give a gift that speaks to who they are as a father. So whether it's a mug that like you specifically get describing like the kind of dad that he is and like have his name on it, or a tumbler or a t-shirt, or there's like picture collages that you can also put like, we love you, dad, things like that. Something that speaks to who he is, has that role of the father. It's very personalized and it's very unique. And then also you can go with like the more traditional gifts as well, which is like looking for the things that they are very interested in, like whether it's tickets to their favorite sports team, or whether it's a concert, or just different things like that as well, are usually very popular gifts. The next one is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is another one that men usually go without quite a bit, and that's because they don't really like to ask for them. They don't usually ask for that kind of validation. They usually feel like it's like it's a burden to ask for words of affirmation. I think like anybody would feel that way, to be honest. So for children, you can tell dad how you feel about him and what kind of father he is to you. You can write a card or like make a card for him where you express how you feel about him. You can again, on the, like if you do the mug or if you do a tumbler, you want to put it on there as well. Like those types of things throughout the day is also a good idea to like use words of affirmation, like I love you, you're an awesome dad, I appreciate you, you work hard, you did a really good job with this, you make things easier for me, you really help me, you're really I don't know, I think things would be harder without you. Like those are words of affirmation that are very valuable to men, because they really focus a lot on their value as a human being. Their value is in how they can make other people's lives around them easier, especially the people they love, and how they can facilitate their lives whether it's by working hard or whether it's by taking up the hardest possible tasks, like if like whether it's gardening, whether it's taking out the trash, whether it's fixing the hardest things in the house that nobody else wants to fix, whether it's going and killing the bugs, killing animals, that rodents and stuff like that. Like they look to feel valuable as members of the household by taking on the worst jobs. So by recognizing and affirming them, it makes them feel really special. Wives, for words of affirmation, you can record a video for your spouse. And this is, again, spouses, significant others, etc., etc. You can, whatever your label is, if you have a dad in your life and he's someone that you want to recognize, you can do a video where you talk to, you and the kids can come together and record yourself saying something really special about him and how important he is. You can write him a letter. That's also really, they usually really cherish that. You can give him something like, you can engrave a watch, you can, or a keychain, things like that. And obviously, everything that I'm suggesting is things that are very economical, very easy to do, but significant to the person and really, really special. And you can do multiple things. You can start the day by doing an act of service, taking something out of his plate, and then follow it along by reinforcing positive affirmations throughout the day and giving them card and a letter by the end of the night, and you bake his favorite cake, and like so on and so on. Like you can do multiple things in the day to really make it like extra special. The last one is quality time. And quality time, it's a lovely, lovely love language. Quality time says, I am going to put away phones, I am going to put away distractions, I am going to put away TV, and I'm going to devote my time specially to you. And nowadays that's a really difficult thing to do, and it's a really cherished thing to do. So something that you can do is you can sit in, and let's say that he's watching like a sports game or a racing, like a race or something like that. Not just, and this is good for kids and spouses, but like not just sit there on your phone, blah, blah, blah. No, if you really want to give him the gift of quality time, you put away your phone far away from where you are, you sit next to him, and you bring out the wings, you bring out the drinks, you kind of all come together, or you and him come together, a spouse and both of you as spouses come together individually, and you watch it. You ask questions, you get involved, you get curious, like truly give that quality for the time. That's, another one is you can invite him to a date and you pay. So like whether it's invite him to something that he would enjoy. So invite him to his favorite restaurant and you pay, or invite him to, if he likes dancing, or if he's okay with dancing, enjoys it, or if he likes to, anything really, that fishing is another one. Invite him to go fishing, and you get the lures, and you get, like, you cover everything, and then you guys go fishing, and you're like there, you're present. And that's great for kids too, so you can do that as well. And let's see, anything else? Why? Oh, I had the word garage written down, and I'm like, why garage? Tinkering in the garage, especially for the kids. Go and sit there with him, put away the phones, and actually like pay attention to what he's doing. What is he working on? Ask questions, and like ask if you can work on, like whether it's a car or a ATV or whatever project the young whatever project the dad is working on, the young child can come, or adolescents can come and ask, like, hey dad, what you up to? Like, ask questions. Can I get in there? Like, can you show me how to do this? Can you show me how to do that? That's also an awesome way to spend quality time. So that, my dears, is my suggestions on how to use the 5 love languages to express your appreciation for dad and father figures. And I hope it was helpful. It was short, quick, and to the point. And I hope that you guys enjoy the content and that you click follow and subscribe and the little bell to get reminders. And I will be seeing you guys on the next video. And as always, if you have comments, if you have questions, if you have suggestions, anything at all, please go ahead and feel free to write it down on the comments. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye, guys.